Partnered by Times Influence.
India's biggest platform for automobile dealers. The third edition of the ET Auto Retail Forum was recently held in New Delhi to bring together the who's who of the automobile world to discuss, deliberate and focus on instilling financial prudence and inventory management for the automobile dealers.
ET Auto Retail Forum is a great opportunity for industry leaders and dealer partners to really also initiate a lot of topics, a lot of new agendas, and also discuss what's happening across the auto segment. I think it's a great initiative, and I'm really happy with the execution of the event.
The forum in its third edition has established itself as a landmark event on automobile retailing in India. Nabil A. Khan, editor ET Auto, flagged off the show with his welcome address.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ET Auto Retail Forum 2018. As they say, coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is success. Today, this large venue packed with dealers and stakeholders speaks volumes about your consistent support and our sustained efforts. I must thank all of you for believing in us. We may think that the future seems far away, but mark my word, it is actually beginning right now. There is also an urgency to be future ready for these mega trends. Wish you a very insightful and prolific day ahead. Thank you so much.
May I please invite on stage the Senior Executive Director of Maruti Suzuki, Randhir Singh Khalsi.
It's indeed my pleasure to be among this August gathering today. Things are changing at a very fast pace, and the kind of scenario that is emerging has never been there in the past. The rate of change has suddenly become exponential, and we all have to be prepared to face this world, and our actions have to be faster than the changing customer aspirations.
The day-long event witnessed a lot of thought-provoking exchange of ideas through a series of pertinent panel discussions. The opening panel of the day was attended by stalwarts from the industry, deliberating on the topic, developing a healthy working capital and inventory management system.
I'd like to start with you sharing, your perspectives around the topic. So, John.
In the automobile network, every 7 years, 6 to 7 years, the number of cars or number of vehicles actually double. Finding money to put into inventory is becoming tougher day by day. 70 to 80% of today's customers actually look up the net before coming to buy. We can easily take the trends from that and manage our supplies rather than working on the salesman or the dealership's perception or concept of what the customer needs.
Thank you, John. I think I'd request Mr. Raja now to share his views on the topic and what sort of trends you're seeing in the market with respect to dealers' working capital management.
We are totally based on retails rather than wholesales, and our idea is sell one, buy one, and our inventory levels are 15 days plus transit. In the case of vehicles and parts, it is like half a month, which is 15 days inventory. We rotate it like that. We work with our dealers and keep more tighter controls. One of the big challenges we see when we get to expansion, and these days the expansion is happening on the workshop side, is clearly the short-term fund getting into a long-term, which becomes a bigger challenge down the line 2-3 months. So where we work with them is any project given, we look to see first where is the source of fund and what type of long-term funding is coming into the operations before the project gets started.
Mr. Guleria.
I think Nabil set the tone in the right context in the morning when he said working together is success. And this is where, the beginning of any capital requirement or financial control management starts. So we need to discuss with our dealer business partners well in advance, not at the beginning of the financial year. So we involve them and also try to get the individual dealers' own aspirations, how much they want to grow, what kind of forecast they have in their market. And in this, not only the capital which is required for the vehicles, we need to talk about the spare parts need. With the growing business, the inventory of parts will also going to increase. The workshop reporting of the vehicles are going to increase. How we are going to manage our accessories as well with the growing and the increase in our business sales volume. So each and every aspect need to be controlled and very transparently discussed between the manufacturer and their individual dealers, of course through the regions and as a two-way communication.
I'd now like to request Mr. Nitin Seth, from an LCV perspective or a commercial vehicle industry perspective, to share his views, please.
Companies can define norms, company can define the processes to manage inventory, the way to order, but what creeps into the system is all your monthly issues which creeps in. And those hidden costs is actually what the dealer ends up paying and leading to profitable to versus a non-profitable dealer. Point I'm trying to say, if the dealer and the company are aligned and the objective is common, this actually system can work very efficiently. My biggest worry today as an OE, that the dealers are going to be in trouble as you go forward. A, because of over-leveraged. B, because of the exposure is so high and somewhere it's going to hit the books. There is enough of flab in the system which can be removed and make dealer profitable. One thing always wins here. The banker wins. Whether the company pays or the dealer pays or the OD, the banker always gets the money. So let's not making a banking profitable. Let's make company and the dealer profitable. That's my take on it. Thank you.
Nikunji, could you share your perspectives on what you're doing differently from a working capital?
So I think everybody has said something right, and we did a very quick survey of some 100 dealerships, and we took them across segments, two-wheelers, cars, commercial vehicles, and we also sprinkled it across metros, non-metros, tier 2, tier 3 cities. And we found that in most cases, the cost of capital or the interest cost was over to 25%, which is much, much higher than what you... And I think that's where everything starts going wrong. And I think the only solution is that the manufacturers and the dealers actually sit together and come to a solution where inventories are optimal and inventories are not the highest.
Scalability and corporatization of the auto retail business was the next topic of discussion, where some of the best minds from the corporate world talked about the changing face of the auto retail business and dealerships currently.
10-15 years ago, if we go back, most of the dealerships were owned by one person, one unit, more of a mom and pop shops scenario. Now in the last 10-15 years we have seen the transition, and the topic is a transition in motion. Rajiv, I want your view. You have seen global market also. You are seeing how Indian dealer community is transitioning towards larger outlets, multi-brand, and moving towards corporatization. So do you think we have arrived in the right manner, or what are the challenges?
I think if you look at the bigger markets than India, like China, US, and Japan, typically 10 to 20% is owned by large dealers come distributors, and 80% still is smaller dealers, mom and pop shows, as we call it. So they exist even in those markets, so that gives you the reason that even in India, they will exist. But the topic here, which we are saying corporatization, doesn't mean only big scale. It basically means transparency. It basically means that you need to have high-skilled manpower. It means you need to have more professionals to run the business. And then leads to some other aspects now with the changing financial reforms, and having financial reforms in our country means there is more compliance, there is more openness, GST and everything. You cannot hide certain things in certain ways the way it used to happen earlier. And also because of digitization and social media, customers also want a lot of transparency. So actually, all these factors put together means you need to get professional. you need to be very transparent. And actually, it puts the ball in court of both OEM as well as dealers. Frankly, it starts with OEM. It doesn't start with dealers. OEMs need to be very, very clear what kind of business model they want to have, what kind of dealer or distributor model they want to have, what kind of policies they want to have. Would they allow dealer to make money or cap their profit at some point of time? Or when we talk about professionalism, it has got all answers in these questions. The time has come, the bottom line, Nabil, that I think whole lot of ways the way business used to happen in our country has to change, and transformation needs to take place. It has to start from OEM, in my opinion.
So basically, we are living in an era of disruption. And disruption is not always a concept. Disruption is also into your day-to-day activities. Corporatization is a larger term to look at. I think what is more important is the step towards that, which is creating that scalability. The way the banks have been looking at this business has been with a lot of passion. And I think a large part of that will continue. This is one of the largest industry, and the value chain starts with financing to the OEMs for their plant and for their expansion, coming to the wholesale, coming to the retail. And a smallest of dealer in a car business is anything close to 80 to 100 crores and upwards. And then when that magnitude of funding is compared with a SME or with a corporate, let me tell you, the terms are completely different. Automobile lending traditionally has been ratio-based, but largely it has been relationship-based. So now we are moving to a scenario where the turnovers are becoming thousands of crores or hundreds of crores. The businesses are becoming big. The opportunities are even bigger. So to prepare ourselves for that, there needs to be a change in the way we have been conducting ourselves. So even that 20-30% change is what will take this industry forward.
Having a stellar lineup of speakers, the ET Auto Retail Forum saw Shalu Jhunjhunwala from Google India and Prasenjit Datta Barua from Facebook India present their views on how data analytics and digital tools can build better customer experience.
We're a tech company, and we obviously are a data-first company in our approach and thought process. One thing which we've observed is, I think we've spoken enough about it today in terms of the role of digital and how has digital become center of everything that we're doing in the auto world. But just to give you some numbers, what we see on Google as data, because, we see consumer behavior across Google Search, YouTube, and Google Maps. So as of today, there is an 8x increase over the last 1 year on Google Maps alone for people searching for dealer near me. So you're literally going on Google Maps, opening and searching for the dealership next to you. The second data point that I want to share is that 2 out of 3 consumers today are actually discovering their dealer that they want to visit online. So it's really, really important to understand what's happening with this space today. Video consumption, 83% car buyers today watch an online video before making a final decision. There's an online world and there's an offline world, and in Google terminology, we call it the omni-channel world. That's where we're moving towards in the future. We're moving towards a world which is omni-channel. It's no longer what's happening in the online world and offline world separately. You need to link these two together, and that's when the true value will unlock. Where you'll be able to use a lot of this data that Google can provide and other companies sitting on this panel can provide back, and really make better sales decisions at the offline world. Because, the reality is, at least for the foreseen future, the car buying experience is going to continue being offline. But you can enhance that experience with all this data that's available today in the online ecosystem.
Prasenjit, moving to you, what we would be very keen to know is that how are you bringing the insights that you have about this consumer?
So I think there's more and more information available out there. And we did a survey last year with Bain & Company, and 71% of the people who walk into a dealer showroom, and I'm sure you've all seen that, have already decided which brand, which model to buy. They just walk into the showroom to finally finalize the deal, talk about the accessories, and close the deal and pass on the money. So there's a lot of information out there. So I think, therefore, there's a huge change in the role, the way the dealer has to play out there. Now cut to an era where, again, I'll give full credit to the entire telecom revolution. Everyone is on the mobile device spending great amount of time. Like on Facebook, we've seen people checking their Facebook account for over 14 times a day. I think it's time to how you can make the best of it and drive your business results through the use of mobile and platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Google, and other places also, and how you could take it forward.
All right, and with that, I think it's the appropriate moment, ladies and gentlemen, to officially launch and unveil the ET Auto Top 100 Power Dealer List. And to do so, if I could have none other than the Honorable Chief Guest, Minister of Commerce and Industry and Civil Aviation, Government of India, Suresh Prabhu sir, please join us in doing the honors. Applause, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Minister, we would be very privileged if you could please address the audience that has so eagerly awaited your arrival.
I'm very happy that ET has organized this event because automobile sector is one of a fast-growing sector of industry in India. We started some years ago when Suzuki made the investment in India. They brought together an ecosystem which became a big auto component manufacturers in the country. Over a period of time, we have seen that Indian auto component manufacturing sector has grown manifold and now has become part of a global supply chain. With that, now we are seeing several manufacturers from different parts of the world have set up shop for assembling automobiles in India. And this is a different segment, different model, different sizes, catering to all segments of our economy. And therefore, I'm very happy that today, such a fast-growing sector is receiving a due attention from ET, and particularly the segment which is the retail segment. So I'm very happy that the retailers are the ones who are in the focus, and that is a part of segment of India's economy which is also growing very fast. I'm very happy to release the book, and I think congratulate Mr. Khan. And I'm very happy that we are coming out with this list, which are the people who are really selling high-end products, has succeeded in that, and they are the ones who actually bring in the success for the upstream manufacturing industry. Because if there are no retailers, there is no manufacturing industry upstream. And therefore, they are the ones who are really the pillars of an economy. I congratulate each one of them and wish them all the success. Thank you very much for organizing the event. I hope ET will continue to do that for different segments. And India's economy, which is already growing at 8.3% at last quarter, and I'm very sure will touch $5 trillion in now 7 to 8 years' time, for which my ministry I am preparing a plan, and therefore we'll see even more growth coming in. When the incomes of the people will rise, they like to buy automobiles. When automobiles have to be bought, the retailers will play a key role, and more the retail business grows, more the upstream manufacturing also will grow. So all the best to you. Congratulations once again, and thank you very much.
The next panel touched upon the importance of gender diversity, a very important topic which reflected how women are now breaking the stereotype and inspiring everyone beyond the gender parity.
So we have seen automobile industry that has been always dominated by mostly men. But today apparently we have good attendance from the fairer gender as well. So I would like to have each one of yours opinion on how this business is different from any other retailing business, or what was the idea? Do you think the women presence has to go up, and why and how it will happen? I'll start with you.
I was married into the a business family which was already into automobiles. And that is where I learned and saw these people fighting, facing challenges. And then when I was given an opportunity to get into this business, I left no scope for saying no. And that is when I joined the automobile business about 2 decades ago. I started from the reception level. I was just a science graduate, no business degree. And I started from the reception as a receptionist to learn. And I went through all the different stages from working in the two-wheeler workshop, then graduated when we got the Tata dealership from two-wheeler to four-wheeler, and then again spending a lot of time in the workshop. And I worked at root level to learn all this, and then I feel that there is no drawback and there is nothing that as a woman, that we can't do. And I tell you, once you get into it, it's kind of a junoon, it's a passion.
I have never felt the gender bias. Really, is it about being a man or a woman? No, I think it's about capabilities, pure say, human capabilities, nothing else. I started my career in this industry 20 years back. I had no husband, no father, no brother, who I started this business with. I partnered with Sanjay. We started the Honda dealership way back in 1998, and rest is history. So really, it's all about you as an individual, wanting to do something, proving yourself. That's about it. It is really not about the gender.
So it's all about capability. What's your thought?
I would say that this is a third-generation business for me, so I have got it from my father, but he entrusted a lot of trust in me for taking this forward. And having said that, automotive industry is a large platform for women to grow and succeed under any circumstances, be it right from marketing, sales, even now into technical aspects.
Your thoughts on?
If being a woman, did one have any challenges? In my case, no, not at all. With respect to the opportunities, with women in the automobile industry, it's immense. But I was reading this article that if there is gender parity in India, our GDP could increase by at least 16%, going up to 60%. And this is by McKinsey. So, and if I just look at my organization, percentage of women working, even though I'm at the top, is so less. Like, it started at 2%, and now with a lot of push, we've got it roughly to 8%. But it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of convincing, and it's going to take, more than anything else, a mindset change that a woman can work after being married.
The annual event for automobile dealers and allied services provided has grown manifold, with the last edition witnessing active participation from partners who not only supported the event but also actively interacted and presented their views in front of the audience.
As Car Dekho, our only purpose is to basically ensure that we can enable value for our dealer partners, our OEM partners. And if we are able to give you an incremental profit pool, that's where we love to, make money, frankly. That's a sweet spot for us.
For Shell Lubricants, we are, for 11 years, the global #1 market share leader, according to Klein & Company. And our commitment is the same for India. To achieve a #1 position, you need to be a #1 or #2 in most of the large markets in the world, and that is certainly also our intention for the India market.
What we every time tell our OEM dealerships is, focus on the technical aspect that needs to be done on the vehicle. Leave it to us in terms of managing the physical touch points of being able to manage customers' experience on pickup and drop facility.
A day of fruitful discussions and conclusions, ET Auto Retail Forum provided the perfect platform for industry stakeholders to learn from and get inspired by their peers.
Partnered by Times Influence.